Hello everyone, my name is Shalise. I'm doing the entire Sam Raimi's trilogy films of the original Spider-Man series, and I'm not gonna base it too off on the comics. I'm gonna give my views of how it is the comics and how views of it is and as a regular movie franchise, and I'm gonna give you the best and the worst, and what I didn't like about this entire series franchise, and what I didn't like about for the trilogy. So let's start off with Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 1. Spider-Man 1 starts off with Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man and Kirsten Dunst as Mary Jane Watson. Basically, the comic is basically a full comic story of Spider-Man, and this entire film is a great stance to the beginning of an origin of a superhero film. Tobey Maguire is a little iffy in this one as Spider-Man. He doesn't show a lot of comedy, which a lot of people didn't like about the original series, but I'd rather have more seriousness than comedy when it comes to Spider-Man. A lot of people say Spider-Man is more comedic, but still. This film really did great with how to make an origin of how Peter Parker got his powers and how he became Spider-Man, why he became Spider-Man, because his Uncle Ben died. What he also wants is to be with Mary Jane Watson, but in his role, he's trying to save the girl he loves from the Green Goblin, which is played by Willem Dafoe, which is the Green Goblin, this one known as Harry Osborn, his father, and which is Spider-Man's best friend. And this film really showed out who Spider-Man was at the beginning. The action was good. It wasn't great. The special effects were pretty good too, but what really sold this is the story, the plot. Overall acting was really good. Some parts could have been better. Kirsten Dunst. But let's not go with that. And but this film is also famous for the upside down kiss, which you can see right here. It's also one of the most famous romantic kisses. I would recommend seeing this film because this is the beginning. Out of a 10, I'm giving this like a 9.2. This film was great at the it's great at the beginning for origin. It's pretty good for a comic standpoint. It's a classic. For a comic standpoint, with the story, it's a classic, not with the characters, and actors. But when it comes to movie review, it's still a great film. It's still a good film. It's a really good 9.2 out of 10. It was a great start to this film franchise. Sam Raimi did an excellent job in the beginning, and it goes good from now on. So let's start off with Spider-Man II. Spider-Man II is by far my favorite Spider-Man film of all time. It's my favorite Spider-Man film of all time, but it's also my favorite superhero film of all time. Spider-Man 2 really gets into the essence of the heart of a superhero. Spider-Man basically, he's going through life. He technically killed the Green Goblin in the first movie, and in the second movie, he tries to keep the secret from Harry that because Harry's witnessed Spider-Man carrying his father's body to the bed, and Harry assumes that Spider-Man killed him, which is ridiculous. But this film is really all about Peter Parker's life story and what it means and how it has to be a superhero. He basically wants his own life of his own. He doesn't want to be Spider-Man no more. He wants to go to Mary Jane's theater, watch her, and probably marry her, spend the rest of his life being happy. And in this one, he has emotional turmoil when he sees crime going around, and he wants to help, but he doesn't really want to because then he has to be Spider-Man again. He doesn't want to be. He's taking emotional issues. His Aunt May is losing the house. He also confronts her about what happened to her that night with Uncle Ben and how he could have saved him, but he couldn't in a way. And it really goes into great depth of who Spider-Man is and what his ultimate legacy is, that he will always be Spider-Man. Sam Raimi does a fantastic job in this film. The actors are at their best. Tobey Maguire is the best as Spider-Man in this film. Kirsten Dunst is actually her best. The chemistry between them is amazing. The villain in this is Dr. Octopus, Dr. Octavius. He's a great villain. I forgot the actor's name, forgive me, but he was such a great villain. Jameson's always funny. He's better than he was in Spider-Man 1. And this is such a great Spider-Man film. I would totally recommend it. I give this like a 10, like a 9.8. This was my favorite Spider-Man film, my favorite superhero film of all time. Absolutely worth your money's worth. Of a comics standpoint, this is I say this is worth like at least 9.6. And a movie franchise, I give this like a 9.8. This is the most heart of a superhero film you'll ever see. Totally watch this film. Totally see it. I recommend it. Now, from Spider-Man 3 is from the best to the worst. What made this film not so great, Spider-Man 3, was this. From Spider-Man 2, they went from Dr. Octavius to one villain. Spider-Man 1, one villain. They had Spider-Man 3, they had 3 villains. They had the Sandman, who actually played technically a plot in Peter Parker's uncle's demise. And in this one, Spider-Man, basically, he's having his misgivings with Mary Jane Watson. And he tries to be there for her in his own way, but he loves how the city's embracing him. He's focused on more of his life instead of his girlfriend's. Mary Jane Watson's in her own time. She's going through her shit, and Spider-Man... This is not really Spider-Man's fault relation-wise, but the chemistry really falls flat in this film. Tobey Maguire and Chris Dunn, I don't know what happened. Their relationship went, right there. So, this film... What I hate about this this film is bad. It's no good. One, because there's too much characters. The plot could be better. This is Sam Raimi's worst film. They clutter up too many villains. Basically, Spider-Man, when he finds out the Sandman supposedly killed his father, and Harry knows that Spider-Man killed, technically, him. So, right now, Spider-Man is Peter Parker's basically fighting Harry Osborn at the same time, trying to get revenge for his uncle against the Sandman, which the Sandman didn't mean to do. This one, he finds a black suit. Yeah, it just appears out of nowhere. It leeches onto him. He gets on that suit. He takes it off. Venom appears at the end, and he played by Topher Grace, who's terrible as Eddie Brock. He's from That 70s Show, known as Eric, and the special effects were amazing in this film. The story was going off. This is more like Spider-Man emo compared to a regular Spider-Man film, and this film could have been so much better, but like I said, they really dropped the ball. Sam Raimi really dropped the ball in this film, and this goes again into the superhero curse. They make the first 2 movies good. Every single superhero film, I'm serious, every single superhero film to the third always ends up bad, including the Dark Knight series. Dark Knight Rises was terrible. Sorry, I'll get to my own review on the Dark Knight Rises and everything else. But for Sam Raimi's film, this was by far one of the worst Spider-Man films I've ever seen. It's definitely the worst. Andrew Garfield's Amazing Spider-Man was 10 times better than this one. This entire film could have been so much better. From my standpoint, I think they should have left the Venom, Topher Grace character, after there at the end, but that on Topher Grace, the Venom suit will go on Topher Grace's character, Eddie Brock, and Eddie Brock will become Venom at the end, and then bam, Spider-Man 4 instead of Amazing Spider-Man. And in this one, Harry Osborn dies as Green Goblin. Sandman disappears, and Eddie Brock supposedly dies at the end. Basically, at the end, Mary Jane Watson and Topher Grace just stare at each other at the end, and that's it. The entire film really blows. I am sorry from a professional standpoint, but this really left a bad taste in my mouth. This is by far one of the worst Spider-Man films ever. Probably one of the worst superhero films ever. It could have been so much better, but out of a 10, I'm giving this like a 5.2. This was really... The reason why I'm giving it a half out of a 10 is because the special effects were awesome, and it was cool to see Spider-Man versus Venom even for a little bit. So, the best film of the franchise is Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 1, and then Spider-Man 3. Now, out of a total of a 10, I'm going to give this entire series, entire trilogy of a franchise, I'm giving this out of a 10, 8.5. Spider-Man 1 and 2 were amazing, but Spider-Man 3 brought down so much. Really went down from Spider-Man 3. But if you do it individually, it's better individually than doing the trilogy. Actually, you know what? I'm going to give it 8.9. Because Spider-Man 2 was a classic. Spider-Man 1 was good as hell. And Spider-Man 3 was just terrible. Of this, you should definitely see Sam Raimi's original Spider-Man films. You should definitely check it out. Totally watchable, totally enjoyable. Like I said, Sam Raimi's the superhero curse still lives on. I'm going to get to my own reviews about that with The Dark Knight. Please leave a comment, agree, disagree with me. Let me know how you feel. And that's it. Happy Easter, everyone. At least you'll see Fitch. That movie series review.